Okay guys, I'm going to show you why I believe that we're looking at a potential 60% drop for Bitcoin starting in March. Do not get me wrong, I'm not saying Bitcoin is going to crash 60% in March. I'm saying that will be the start of the correction. I'm going to show you all the evidence I've collected that shows me this is very likely to happen. And guys, I normally don't ask this, but if you do appreciate this content and you want to show me that you appreciate this content, then do me a favor and hit the like button and subscribe. That's you showing me that you appreciate this work that does take time to put up. I will give you points to long and short. If we do push back up, I'll give you points to enter a short. And if we drop and those support levels become resistance, that'd be an ideal point to enter another short. I'm currently in two shorts right now. This is USDC. I'm currently in profit $3,700. This is on BitGet. This is my other trade I'm in. This is USDT. I'm currently up $1,300. I'm going to hold this short. My stop is below my entry, so if price pushes up, I lose nothing. But I want to be in because I expect a lot of downside. The reason I use BitGet and will continue to use BitGet is because they have proof of reserves. So I feel comfortable and safe having my money on their exchange. If something bad happens, something catastrophic, the money will be there for me to take my money off the exchange. So again, that's why I trust them, continue to use them. If you want to sign up for BitGet, my link's pinned in the first comment and description. So this was a video I put up. This was 1 month ago. I was saying expect a sucker's rally when we cross this ring. We would push up to a certain point, top out, and come down. I'll put a link up this video now if you want to check it out. This was the chart I was talking about, this ring. Once we cross this ring at the beginning of the sucker's rally, you can see what happened. We crossed this ring, we pushed up. Now I believe we are topped out, or pretty much topped out, to start coming down. I also put up another video. This was 3 weeks ago, saying black swan event to crash all markets within 60 days. Well, I think now we know what the black swan event is. We're going to cover that also. I'll put a link to this video now if you want to check this out. So the chart I'm referencing in this video is this chart right here. Now, this was a chart I published on August 22nd, 2021. It says right here, Dow should drop when we make contact with green ring. Have an arrow here, have a line here. And I was saying when we hit this ring, price or the Dow would start coming down. And that's also when Bitcoin topped out and started coming down as well. And in my previous videos, I've been talking about this ring. This ring, I believe, is going to send us down. We're going to cover that in detail along with some other charts and some news and information. This is the chart. This is this ring. It is possible we could get a pump. I can tell you this orange ring, I have a little ghosted. We topped right here at 37,000. If we do get one last pump, I think the absolute top for the Dow would be 34,860. I will open so many puts on the Dow if we hit that point, because I believe that would be the ultimate top. It's also possible we just continue sideways and down. I think that's actually more likely. So I'm going to cover a few things that shows me why we're looking at an epic crash for the stock market and for Bitcoin. And white is a 10-year treasury, and orange is the NASDAQ. Notice when the treasury, right, when it bottoms, we get a peak. I believe each one of these is a cycle. This is one cycle, this is a cycle here, this is a cycle, and this right here is one huge cycle playing out. But you'll notice when the treasury is at the bottom, it is bottomed, that's a peak for the markets. When the treasury's peaked, it's a bottom for the markets. The treasury peaks right through here, right, that was a bottom for the markets. Well, you can see how far down the treasury yield is now, and how far up we are. This was our peak here. So when the treasury yield reverses and starts pushing up, you're looking at a lot of downside. By the way, this is the NASDAQ. So we're looking at a hell of a possible drop from this point, just seeing how inverted the yield curve is. And let's look at some other things. So Google, these big tech companies are laying off left and right. Google cuts 12,000 jobs in latest round of big tech layoffs. Amazon is set to begin new round of layoffs affecting more than 18,000 people. All right, so these big corporations are laying off left and right. CPI data came in. It came in higher than expected. U.S. inflation leaped to 6.4% in January, above the forecasted 6.2%. So I think the black swan event that I was referencing is going to be sticky inflation. Right here, the Fed's preferred inflation gauge accelerates, adding pressure for more rate hikes. This was the preferred price index rose 5.4% in January, core up 4.7%. So you've got different metrics that the Fed uses that's showing that inflation is sticky, if not pushing up. What happens if interest rates? What happens if interest rates increase too quickly? The global economy runs on money. So when the cost of money in the form of interest rates rises rapidly, growth may slow sharply to even give way to a recession. And I do believe a recession is coming. And I think I've nailed down when this is going to happen. Americans are relying more on their credit cards. You can see this is in the billions. You can see people are using a credit card like crazy, trying to keep up with inflation and trying to keep up paying the bills. It's currently at over $880 billion. People are putting everything on their credit cards to get by. This right here, the average interest rates for all credit card accounts since 1994, look how much interest rates have gone up. So all the debt all these people have on their credit cards, now they're paying more on that debt. Auto loan delinquencies. Auto loan delinquencies are growing. People see in December, auto loans that were delinquent by more than 60 days have increased 26.7% from the previous year. People are not being able to pay off their credit cards. Credit card delinquency is expected to increase in 2023. The writing is on the wall if you look at the bigger picture. This right here is the Federal Reserve. This right here just shows inflation, and when the Fed pivots, that's when something's broke, and that's when you get a crash. During the dot-com bubble, you can see inflation was going up. They were raising interest rates. And you can see when they finally pivoted, right, and started lowering interest rates, inflation was coming down. You can see we still had a crash. This was the peak of the dot-com crash. We had a crash. We bottomed here. The financial crisis of 2008, you can see the interest rates were going up. The markets were still pushing up. As soon as the Fed pivoted, right, it kind of topped out and sideways. As soon as the Fed pivoted and came down, that's when the markets had a crash. You can see something similar happened right here. The Fed was raising interest rates up until our COVID crash. As soon as they pivoted, lowering it to zero, you see that's when we had a COVID crash. Now interest rates and inflation is rising while markets are still coming down. So I think pretty soon the Fed will pivot, but that's because it's too late and markets are already coming down. The DXY, this is on the monthly chart. The DXY is in a huge falling wedge going back since 1979. This is our resistance support. We've already broken up from this falling wedge, tested as support, and continuing up. Something big is coming. This is a Dow Jones chart. This is just using trend lines. You can see this yellow line is our support. We bottomed here on our COVID crash. And I'm saying this is potentially a bottom if we crash. This was the top during COVID, and this was our peak. Now, if we go back to this Dow Jones chart that I was talking about right here, and we grab this ring, this is the ring I'm saying is going to send us down. So if I take this, copy it, go back to this chart, and paste it in, you can see what I'm expecting here. And take note, this ring right here, when we hit this ring at resistance, this is when we had a COVID crash. We dropped a total of over 36%. We're at this next ring right here. And I believe this ring is going to continue to send us down. And if the indices, the traditional markets come down, Bitcoin's coming down as well. And our support is right here. This was our resistance. This was resistance and support. This was support. So a likely support level is right here. And that is a drop of 37%. And I can tell you where this ring and that line intersects. That is February 24th. This could take a long time to come down. But I'm saying the start, I think we're already topped out to potentially come down. This is a Bitcoin chart. I showed this in a previous video. This is just to make it very clear why I believe a 60% drop is likely. You can see this yellow trend line. This was previous resistance back in November 2013. It was support when we had a crash from, it was 6K to 3K back in 2018. When we had a COVID crash, that same line became support. That was in 2020. So it is very likely that if we have another crash, which I think is very likely that we will crash, that will bring us down to potentially, let me put a price label here, if I can find it. That will take us down to, I mean, you're looking at potentially, $7,600, potentially $8,000. That is one hell of a drop. And I'm telling you, it's going to start next month based on this chart. So as far as current price, I put a video up a little while ago saying, look, if you're bullish and you expect us to go higher, we have to get above the 200 week. We tested it multiple times, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times, and we cannot get above it. So I believe we've already topped out. I don't think we're going to get above the 200 week moving average. And if you'll notice, this white trend line here, let me put another arrow here. This white trend line is our support right now. Well, now it's resistance. You can see it was support down here at 16K. It was support here at 22,000. And now we broke below it, and now it's resistance. So currently, your resistance is this trend line. We're pretty much topped out at 23,800. Now, if we drop more, I could tell you where your key support levels are. Your first major support level to pay attention to is around 22,300. I'm pretty sure these are going to break. When 22,300 becomes resistance, that might be an ideal point to short. And the next key support level, next major support level below is going to be, you can see this red line right here, right back here, right? This has been a lot of support and resistance. So this would be the next point for a scalp long, or if you get below 20,500 and that becomes resistance, that'd be the ideal point to enter a short. But I do believe we're topped out to come down. This is another chart. This is H1 chart. By the way, guys, you can access all these live charts on my website. Links pinned first comment description. So if you're not currently in a short, the next ideal point to short, if we push up, you can see this was support, support, support. Likely point to enter a short would be 23,787, around that area. If we get above that, I will go in very heavy on a short around 24,832. It is possible we push up some, but I do believe these are the most likely points to enter a short. And if we drop, once we break below 23,238, I think it's pretty much game over. But each one of these key support levels below, if you get below 23,238, you test it as resistance, get rejected, ideal point to enter a short. But again, these are the next 2 points I will short if I get stopped out or add to my shorts. But again, guys, you can access these charts. Website is opticalcrypto.com. Links pinned first comment and description. I also have tutorials teaching my method of charting. And if you want to sign up for BitGet, my links pinned first comment description. That's it, guys. Trade safe, trade smart. I'm out.